Hi, this is Miss Diorama. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will show you how I made some 1:24 scale garden accessories. I also show you how I made the fence that encloses the garden. The template for this is also available for purchase in my shop. I will make the link to my shop available in the video description. I will begin with the fence. I designed the fence sections to exactly fit the dimensions of the diorama base for my weatherboard house. I cut them out of 3mm thick MDF with my laser cutter. I painted each section with white acrylic paint. You could also use a can of spray paint for this, which may or may not be easier than hand painting. I think it's a personal choice. MDF is quite absorbent and therefore requires a few coats of paint, whether spraying or hand painting, and either way, each coat of paint has to be allowed to dry before adding the next coat of paint. Both ways are quite time consuming, and of course if you're spray painting, this should be done outside or in a well ventilated area, and you should wear a mask and gloves. Hand painting doesn't quite need that extent of precautions, so I chose this method. While the paint was drying on the fence sections, it was time to make some fence posts. I made each post by gluing together 2 of these fence palings. For this project, I needed 12 posts in total. Once the glue was dry, I filed the tops of the posts into pointed shapes. This took some time, but the result was worth it. I painted the posts with white acrylic paint and set them aside to dry, while I made some window planter boxes. I made 5 of these in total. Then it was time to make a ladder. So that the ladder can fold, I cut 2 jewellery head pins down to use as tiny bolts at the hinge point. This chain will act as a spreader between the 2 lattice sections. These tiny hooks made out of the leftover wire from the jewellery head pins will hold it in place. I secured the chain to the hooks with craft glue. With the ladder completed, I collected the parts to make a wheelbarrow. This wheelbarrow is going to be a rustic wooden style barrow with a working wheel. For the front of the barrow, I curved a piece of cardstock over a round handle. The wheel axle is a piece of cocktail stick cut down to size. Then it was time to make some plant pots. This is an example of a pot that I've already put together. Now I'll show you how I made these tiny pots. Every good productive garden requires some good equipment for looking after it, so I made some garden tools. The handles for these tools are made using wooden cocktail sticks cut down to size. The template for the pots I just made, as well as for these tools, will be included with the 1:24 scale Weatherboard House template. The link to where you can purchase the template will be in the description. These tools are very tiny, smaller than they probably look. I've had to make them 1/24th of what their actual size in reality would be. The little handheld garden trowel I'm making is about 17 millimeters long, which in reality would make it approximately 40 centimeters in length. With all the tools now finished, I gave them an undercoat of burnt umber. Now I will show you how I made the trellis for the climbing roses. The trellis structure is given a final coat of paint. Now the fence can be assembled. And with that, the rest of the features can now be incorporated into the diorama. It was now time to attach the lattice screening to the underside of the house. With that done, I'll show you how I made some daisies, some roses and some Mandevilla flowers. To begin with, after cutting the flowers using my laser, I then gave them some shape with a ball stylus tool. To make the roses, I glued together a larger and a smaller flower to make one flower. Once that was done, I painted the flowers. For the daisies, I chose purple. The Mandevilla flowers I painted a bright pink. If I was doing this again, I would either use coloured paper or paper that I've already painted to cut the flowers and leaves from, rather than painting them after cutting. The roses I painted with a watered down pale pink, and I painted a selection of leaves in green. To make the climber, I coloured some twine using a dark wash made up of watered down black and brown acrylic paint. I glued some woodland scenics lichen to the ends of the twine. I used tacky glue for this. I followed this with some dry oregano leaves. Over this, I added some Woodland Scenics coarse turf. To make the foliage in the window boxes, I used tacky glue, lichen and coarse turf, and I used coffee grounds for the soil. I set the soil into the boxes with a mixture of glue and IPA. I had to reshape the flowers again as they had flattened out after they were painted. This is another reason why next time I will cut the flowers from coloured paper. To make some taller daisies, I glued some flower heads onto some tiny pieces of wire. The pots and saucers that were made earlier were painted a terracotta colour. They were also filled with the coffee ground glue mix to make soil. Green nail polish was used to coat the wire stems. All of these leaves received wire stems. I made these larger planter boxes, but I decided not to use them for this diorama. I will be using them in a future video though, along with these Monstera deliciosa leaves that I made. Meanwhile, this little pot plant will be featured in this diorama. A terracotta saucer completed this tiny plant. Then I made 2 more tiny plants, including this one. It was now time to attach the climbing rose to the trellis. I used tacky glue to attach the climber. While the glue was drying on the climber, I attached the hanging planter boxes. I attached 2 of them to the balcony railings, and the rest of them were attached under the windows. Then I glued the roses to the climber. Then I added some pink mandevillas. I painted the centers of the daisies yellow. Then it was time to paint the tiny garden tools. I decided to paint them to look as if they belonged in a set. I used my coffee grounds and glue mix to add some soil to the wheelbarrow. That completes this video, so if you're still here, please stick around for a tiny bit longer. I have an exciting announcement to make. I will be doing a makeover to my work area that you see in all my videos, and I'll be showing you exactly what I did in my next video, so make sure you don't miss it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and also make sure to turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And to all of my subscribers, a big thank you. I really appreciate your support. And with that, I'll leave you with this little slideshow I put together. Thanks for watching. Bye for now and see you next time.